Welcome to the I Can Do Anything podcast. My name's Colin. Today I'm talking about basketball. Imagine that. It was really it was an interesting night in the NBA. There was a shit ton of games. I believe there were 10 games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games. I thought that with more games that I would have more to talk about, and there would be, I guess with more games I do have more to talk about, but I'm just one guy and I got a full-time job and I can't stay up past 10 o'clock at night. So there's really only so many games I can see. So I think I like the games, or I like the nights better where there's like 2 or 3 games on, so that I can, watch the 7 or 8 o'clock game and then watch the 10:30 game the next day and then talk about it in the evening. But last night with 10 games, I think I watched the majority of the Bucks and the Hornets. I watched a very small amount of the Pistons and Nets. None of the Pacers, Grizzlies. None of the Magic Heat. None of the Knicks, Hawks. I watched the whole Raptors Cavs game. For the first 3 quarters, and I guess I watched the whole Pelicans Rockets game. I watched the whole Spurs Timberwolves game and a very small portion of the Jazz Kings game. I'll start off with the Bucks and the Hornets game. It was a really good game. I really hope that the Hornets keep that floor for the entire year. In their 30th anniversary, they've done like a retro court with the entire, everything inside the 3-point line is, just go look at it. It's really awesome. And there's a honeycomb inside the lane. I hope they keep that the whole time. But, the Hornets, they could be a sleeper in the Eastern Conference. I think they have a chance to maybe take the Cavs playoff spot. And, let's say that they were the 4 seed like the Cavs were last year. They could make a solid run in the NBA playoffs in the East. I don't think that they're beating the Celtics. I don't think they're beating the 76ers. They're probably not beating the Wizards, although I haven't seen the new look Wizards. I don't think they haven't played yet. But they could make a really interesting run in the East. Kemba Walker was great last night. What did he have? He had 38 points, shot 51% from the field, 7 for 13, 53% from 3. Only 4 assists, but they've got really great pieces around Kemba too. Jeremy Lamb, Marvin Williams is a veteran. Jeremy Lamb can score the ball in a number of different ways and stretches the floor. Nicholas Batum, who missed a wide open 3 to win the game. Kemba didn't have 38. He played 38 minutes. He had 41 points. Nicholas Batum only scored 5 points last night. It was 2 for 8 from the field and 1 for 4 from 3-point. So not a very good night for Nicholas Batum. Maybe he's getting old. How old is Nicholas Batum? Oh, he's only 29? All right, so he's fine. He's still got another 6, 7, 8 years maybe left in him. But Malik Monk, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, Tony Parker, they're really guard heavy. If they were to, I think that maybe if they were to make a move in the middle of the season or something before the trade deadline, where they got rid of a combination of Jeremy Lamb, Malik Monk, Kidd-Gilchrist, Tony Parker. You could even throw Marvin Williams in there. I like keeping Marvin Williams because he's a veteran and just does a lot of really good things. Last night he was 2 for 7 from the field with 5 points. But if you could get a good package, like a good big man for some package of those guards, I really like what Miles Bridges could do in the NBA. Last night he played 14 minutes, 1 point. But Tony Parker will be a great backup point guard for Kemba Walker. You're not really going to miss a step. You may miss a step like in scoring, but Tony Parker is going to come in and facilitate and lead the team for the 19 minutes that he played last night, and he'll play a little bit on the floor with Kemba at the same time. But I really think that the Hornets could be a sleeper in the East. Antetokounmpo was really good last night, 25 points. Ersan Ilyasova had a really good game. I think he fits in really well with that team. He fits in really well anywhere just because he's a versatile four that can shoot. I did tune in for the Cavaliers and the Raptors because I wanted to see Kawhi Leonard play. And Kawhi looks good. Kawhi looks really good. He 24 points, 12 rebounds. He looks like he's got his explosion. The turnaround jump shot looked really good. He played pretty good. There was one dunk in transition after a steal that he dunked with one hand, and then as the ball was coming back through the net, it almost looked like in the video games where it like almost like magnetized to his hand, and it almost looked like a glitch the way he caught it. And he just like snatched it out of midair with one hand, and it really didn't even look like he tried. It almost like fell right into his hand, and it just like stuck to his hand. But I was sort of amazed last night with how, I mean, it was opening night for them, so there's energy in the arena, but I was amazed at how unintriguing the game was post LeBron. I mean, I kind of expected it, but there was really no talk of. There was a little talk in the broadcast about the Raptors' struggles to get past the Cavs and LeBron, but now like with LeBron gone, that rivalry, it wasn't really even a rivalry because the Cavs won every time, but that matchup, the LeBronto thing is gone now, and there's really no intrigue to that game. I mean, I'm sure the NBA scheduled that game as their opening night matchup because of that, and then LeBron's gone. I don't know when they do the schedules. Maybe they do the schedules after LeBron made his decision, but regardless, that matchup really lacked a lot of intrigue for me, and Kevin Love played well, although he shot the ball like shit from the field. 27% from the field, 25% from three. Colin Sexton didn't play very good. Their scoring was pretty spread out. 17 for Osman. Kevin Love had 21. Rodney Hood 12. Tristan 3. George Hill 15. Clarkson had 15 off the bench and he shot the ball relatively well. But that team's just that matchup in general is just very unintriguing. And I mainly watch Kawhi Leonard. Kyle Lowry had a good game last night for as much as I criticize him. He played really well, and I think Van Fleet played really well too. He's great for them. He's a great backup point guard that can also play at the same time. In the fourth quarter, they had Kawhi Leonard out there. It was Kawhi, Danny Green, Kyle Lowry, Serge Ibaka, and Van Vliet. And what did Van Vliet had 14 points, 6 for 14 shooting, 20% from the field. So just a solid game as a backup. But Serge Ibaka, I almost naturally call him that now, played really well. Kyle Lowry had 17. He shot 83% from the field. Holy shit. And 83% from three. Wow, he played out of his mind. But that's my criticism kind of Kyle Lowry, is that he's great during the regular season. And then the big game comes when you're about to play LeBron, and he just doesn't play well at all. And LeBron doesn't even really guard him unless he has to. He was guarding DeMar DeRozan and what's his name? What's that guy's name? Siakam? Is he there? No. Anunoby. and he got hurt. I think OG Anunoby got hurt last night. But yeah, he doesn't. Kyle Lowry he plays well all season. I mean, those numbers are really fucking good. 27 points on 83% shooting, 83% from the field or from three, 8 assists, 3 turnovers. That's a good assist to turnover ratio. But then he just doesn't play well in the big games. But I mean, what is he supposed to do? Not play well in the regular season and then play? God, I don't really know how he's supposed to. You're supposed to play well the whole time. So I can't really criticize him for playing well in the opening game of the season. It's kind of what you're supposed to do. What else do I got? I watched the majority of the Rockets-Pelicans game, although it was quite the blowout. Anthony Davis was really impressive. 32 points, 16 rebounds, and 8 assists. Shot 61.9% from the field. Didn't take any threes. 85% from free throw. 6 for 7 is good. 16 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 steals, 3 blocks. They look good as a whole. He looked really good. The chemistry between him and Mirotic was great. There was a couple, 3-4 possessions in a row maybe where Davis was backing in or had the ball in the wing semi-post, and Mirotic cut off of people, and he made a couple of really great passes to him, and they just had really good chemistry for the first game. And Mirotic came from, did he come from the Bulls, or he was traded somewhere after him and Homeboy got in a fight at the Bulls, so he didn't come from the Bulls, but they had really good chemistry. Drew Holiday didn't play all that well, only 10 points. 5 for 12 from the field, 0 for 6 from 3. Yikes. 8 assists, though, 3 turnovers. Julius Randle looks like he's found they spread the ball. They spread points out really well. 21, 30, 32, 10, 10, 25 for Julius Randle, and 3 for Solomon Hill. Jahlil Okafor didn't even play. I wonder if he's hurt. He must be. But yeah, they looked really great last night, and the Rockets' defense was horrible. I mean, what they got, they filled a number of pieces that replaced Trevor Ariza, but I just don't think that Michael Carter-Williams is going to cut it defensively. He's a pretty good defender, but he can't shoot. And Trevor Ariza was a great corner three-point shooter and just spot-up three-point shooter in general. The ball still stops in Carmelo's hands so much. I didn't see if he came off the bench or not. Did Melo come off the bench? Yeah, he did come off the bench. 27 minutes, 9 points, 30% shooting, 1 for 5 from 3, only 4 rebounds, 2 turnovers, no assists. His plus or minus was negative 20. Jeez. Wow, the whole team was negative, pretty much. There were 4 guys on the bench that played a total of 30 minutes, and all those guys were +3 and +2 in point differential. Eric Gordon, negative 11 point differential. Carmelo, negative 20. Chris Paul, negative 19. James Harden, negative 23. See, that's why Harden was not the most valuable player last year, because he had 18 points. He played 34 minutes, and when he was on the floor, the team was down 23 points, and he took 8 threes, and he only took 15 shots. That's low, very low for James Harden. Their defense was horrible. Van Gundy made a comment about the back cuts. Those guys are just standing around, and Van Gundy referenced the NBA, and I think that's where the NBA gets a bad rap, is that nobody plays help side defense. But it's a lot harder to play help side defense when you can't just stand in the lane. And I mean, the Rockets are a really bad example because their help side defense and their defense in general is really bad. Going back to the Pelicans, Drew Holiday, what was Drew Holiday wearing? He had it looked like he had a do-rag on, but there was like extra like the flap in the back, or the extra that ties the knot off in the back. It wasn't a do-rag because it wasn't like over the top of his head, but I was kind of amazed that the NBA allowed him to have all that extra stuff hanging off the back. It just seems like almost like kind of like dreadlocks in the NFL where they're coming out of your helmet. It just seems like that would be like a disadvantage. I guess in the NFL you're allowed to rip and pull on things to try to stop people, but in the NBA that would just be a foul, I guess, if you grabbed the tail of his do-rag. But I thought it was funny that he was wearing that. Something else that I noticed was the colorful shoes. The NBA lifted there used to be a regulation on what color shoes you could wear. That had to be the shoe color had to be something, one of your team's colors essentially, and they completely lifted that, and you can wear whatever colors you want now on your shoes. And it seemed like a lot of guys are wearing the other team's colors. Like Jaylen Brown on opening night was wearing the 76ers colors. He had one red shoe and one blue shoe on. Rudy Gay last night in the Spurs game had on like neon orange and yellow shoes. Jordan Clarkson had on some neon shoes. It's going to be really interesting this year to just watch the what people are doing with their shoes, which is, I can't believe I'm even saying that. But the shoe culture is really, really prevalent right now. And you can basically see the next day what everybody wore if you go to Bleacher Report and look at the Kicks trending page or whatever it is, subscribe to the Kicks page, and you can just see what people were wearing on their feet in an NBA game, which is really pointless, but it's kind of cool at the same time. Okay, moving on to did I talk about enough in let's see, what else is in the Houston-New Orleans game? You know what? That game was a blowout. Fuck it. Let's go to the Spurs and the Timberwolves. I thought that the chemistry looked fine between the Timberwolves and, Jimmy Butler and the rest of the Timberwolves, I guess. The only time that anything really stood out to me was at the end of the game. Wiggins, the Timberwolves missed I don't remember what the final score was 112-108. I don't remember what the score was at the time. It must have been 108 to 110. Spurs were up because they probably made the 2 free throws. But Andrew Wiggins didn't foul with like 20 seconds left, down 2. And, I guess if you were down 2, you wouldn't necessarily need to foul. I don't remember what it was, but he didn't foul, and then Jimmy Butler ended up fouling. And it's kind of nitpicky because this whole thing is under the microscope. You wonder if that's why Jimmy Butler doesn't want to be playing with Wiggins and Towns, because Towns fouled out and only played 22 minutes and only had 8 points, 33% from the field. Took 2 threes and made one of them. He only had 9 rebounds. For Karl Anthony Towns should get 9 rebounds in his sleep. But you wonder if that's why Jimmy Butler doesn't want to play with them, because mental errors like that. But for the most part, they looked great. I mean, Jimmy Butler played well, 23 points on 39% shooting, which is all right, I guess. 25% from 3, but the one he made was a big 3 from the corner, a tough 3 from the corner down the stretch. 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 turnover. Jeff Teague, though, had a great game. He's 27 points, 66% from the field, 66% from 3, 2 for 3 from 3. Jeff Teague is he's been a great point guard everywhere he's been. And he's really one of those like foundational point guards where if you were to put him on like a really talented, really like, you could throw him on any contending team and they'd automatically, that doesn't really say much. If a team's already contending, then you add Jeff Teague, then they're just still contending, I guess. But I don't know if he necessarily puts you over the hump. He really works great on this team. You'd think that Jimmy Butler and Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins and Jeff Teague would be enough, and I don't think their bench is strong enough, but Jeff Teague is a great NBA point guard, and I think a lot of teams could really use him. I mean, he's bounced around a decent amount. He probably played for 3 teams now. The Pacers for a while. I know he's from Indy, and now the Timberwolves. But I feel like there was another team in there somewhere. I guess what I was wondering as I was watching the Timberwolves game was how these guys felt about playing with a guy in Jimmy Butler that you knew didn't respect you. Like, I just kept, because I don't have any commercials, I'm just sitting there watching the team huddles and stuff. And, they're all interacting just like nothing happened really. I mean, they're in public and, it's a game, so they're not going to get in a fight or a verbal argument, although they very well could. That type of thing happens a decent amount in the NBA. And I just wonder if it motivates them playing with a guy that doesn't really respect your drive to win. Does that motivate these guys to want to prove him wrong or want to win him over, sort of, or does that just make them not want to play with him at all? I was watching the T-Wolves broadcast, and they showed a little snippet of an interview they did with or I guess like a testimonial interview type of thing that they did with I think it was their general manager or maybe their owner. And he just kind of touched on the whole Jimmy Butler thing. And he said, basically Jimmy Butler is a respectable good man, and I take a good man for his word. And if he says that he doesn't want to be here anymore and that he wants a trade, then I have instructed it was their owner, because he said I have instructed our general managers to seek something that works out for us and keeps us competitive, but also works out for Jimmy. And I thought that he handled it really professionally and eloquently. But I just wonder if these guys, what it does for them. I mean, the reason he wants to leave is because they're not competitive enough for him. I mean, so it probably doesn't motivate them. It probably just makes them like, man, get this fucking guy out of here that's making my job harder. Shit, dude, Andrew Wiggins is probably just trying to chill. He's probably just trying to hang out, play basketball, make a shitload of money, smoke weed in the evenings, and he just had a kid and just hang out at home and maybe go to the club every once in a while. That's the thing about a lot of these NBA guys, they've already accomplished their dream. These guys come from, for the most part, underprivileged families, and now they make millions of dollars playing a game that they love. And they're just pretty happy. I mean, shit, I would be too. I would take in a heartbeat, I'd take the league minimum and ride the bench. I'd make $300,000 a year and just fucking chill out. I couldn't imagine just being a guy that plays, like Tyus Jones played 16 minutes last night, scored 4 points, and he makes millions of dollars. That'd be cool with me. So it's hard for me to really criticize any of these guys too much, because it's just a game, and they make a shitload of money. And that's why there's no fights anymore. None of these guys are trying to punch somebody and lose thousands of dollars, because this stuff doesn't really matter. And if it doesn't matter, then I really don't know why the fuck I'm talking about it. Because I love the game, I guess, probably as much as they do. I just wasn't gifted their size and athleticism. A game that I did miss was the Jazz and the Kings. It looked like just from the score, 123 to 117, looked like it was probably a good game. Let's see what Mitchell did. Donovan Mitchell, 36 minutes, 24 points, 38% from the field, 30% from three. So it's funny, I was about to say an average night, but 24 points is that's fantastic. He led the team in scoring. And they spread the points out pretty well too. Ingles 22, Favors 18, Gobert 19, Donovan Mitchell 24, and then Crowder and Burks and Exum came off the bench and each had 13. I think Exum is where they could make a big separation in the West and maybe win a second playoff game instead of just beating the Thunder, because that's probably what will happen again this year, is they'll match up with the Thunder somewhere and beat them again. That's what I hope happens, sort of, at least. But that's all I got. What do we got today in the NBA? We got Bulls Sixers at 8 o'clock, Heat Wizards at 8 o'clock, and Lakers Trailblazers at 10:30. I'm not going to be able to stay awake for the Lakers Blazers game, but I will watch it. And the majority of next episode is going to be about the Lakers. You've been warned, and probably heavily on LeBron James. I'm really excited to watch LeBron in his first official game. It seems like he wants to play a bunch of minutes again this year and wants to lead this team, and it's really exciting. So for myself and the computer monitors in front of me and the microphone that I'm talking into, thanks for listening. You can do anything, and so can I. Thanks for listening to the I Can Do Anything podcast.